There are some major differences between Medicare Advantage and supplement plans that can literally mean the difference between life and death. And I have both the data and the storage which can illustrate the importance of this topic. This is not to be sensational, but you need to know why this is so important. That's why I don't like those comparisons that only talk about small things. You need to talk about the most important parts of why you're doing something. So superficially, when I was trained with these products, all I was told that they do the exact same thing as long as the doctor is in the network. I found out nothing could be further than the truth. You know the famous saying, nothing is for free? Well, Medicare Advantage is always spouting its benefits as free, free, free today. Well, I'm going to cover what that cost really is. Again, nothing is free in just a few minutes, and it will all make perfect sense. So it's already a joke trying to navigate the ins and outs of coverage options that can already be a head scratcher. So let's go through the basics before we cover why this is so critical and why Medicare supplement plans keep you on original Medicare, whereas Medicare Advantage takes you off original Medicare. So original Medicare means that you can see any doctor that you want in the country as long as they accept Medicare, and then you can get the treatment you believe is right as is covered under Medicare. But there's a hidden benefit I'll get to in just a second. The downside is that original Medicare doesn't cover certain things like dental, vision, and hearing, as well as drug coverage, which is your Part D coverage. And there's usually a premium that's more than $0 on top of your Part D payment you have to make to Medicare Supplement. It can range anywhere from $60 if you're in an underwriting state, as much as $250 or even $500 depending on your age. Now, Medicare Advantage covers, in most cases, your Part D coverage for drugs, as well as your dental, vision, and hearing. Original Medicare, even with a supplement, doesn't cover any of those things as I just mentioned. You need to get a separate policy. Now, I'm just covering the superficial stuff before I get into the big, heavy, crazy stuff. The other benefit is the cost of Medicare Advantage. In most places, it's a $0 premium on top of your Part B premium. So, usually, you have to pay somewhere in the range of $20 to $40 for Medicare Advantage plan if you want additional benefits, but in most places, in most policies, it's a $0 premium. You can't say free, it's against the law. But you still have to pay your Part B. That doesn't go away whether you're on a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare Supplement plan, unless you're under the poverty line and you can get Medicaid. That's another question entirely. But there's a much, much bigger problem, and here is the big difference between both of them. So again, when I was trained on Medicare, I asked, what's the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement in regards to the care that you received? Now, I received a boilerplate answer. They said that there's no difference as long as the doctor and the hospital are in the plan, you're fine. The doctor is covered. But that is so little of what goes into the equation. It's super, super scary. So yes, Medicare Advantage covers your Part D coverage, covers those drugs, covers some part of your dental, vision, hearing, at least the small superficial stuff. And even if your doctor is covered and the hospital you want is covered, what is that secret cost? How can this whole thing be free, free, free? Well, here's the big problem. The difference is that tens of millions of denials for requests for authorization for care and reimbursements for medical bills are not being given. Members of Medicare Advantage plans are sent bills after they're given their medical insurance thinking it's covered, only to find out the insurance denied the claim. And even worse, they can deny care that you may need that you would have received under original Medicare. The reason why is what's called prior authorization. Your doctor, even if it's the same doctor, can't give you the same care. Think about it. Medicare Advantage is run by a private health insurance. There's nothing wrong with that. The role of a corporation is to first look out for its shareholders. Now, obviously, if you don't, your company won't exist. It won't get all the benefits of the higher share prices and sales of their bonds. And the way that usually benefits you is that you can have the competition of the best products and services at the best price. The only problem is that when it comes to health, you don't really know what you have. You don't know what you're missing until it's too late, and that is a major problem that you need to understand. The study by the Inspector General's Office of Health and Human Services has found thousands of cases of improperly denied health services, things that were considered medically necessary. But let me go a little further. Let's say that your doctor is in the network with a Medicare Advantage plan, and the doctor recommends you get a CAT scan because you have a serious headache that's been bothering you for a long time, and that's what they believe is best for you. The insurance company determines that CAT scan isn't in fact necessary. Well, the example I'm giving to you isn't one I made up. I actually got this from one of my clients whose father died because they denied his CAT scan. This isn't theoretical. This happens to real people, and people that I know have been harmed with this coverage. This does not mean that you will be harmed. Do not think that. What I'm trying to say is there's a possibility that through prior authorization, they can deny that claim. But I'm going to give you solutions, so don't freak out. Now, I know what I'm saying is going to ruffle some feathers because I know that for some people, they can't afford or get a Medicare supplement plan through the underwriting simply because in some states, or depending on your age, you just can't afford it. So I want to tell you the solutions because there are some solutions which will make it a lot easier for you. But I think it's important for us to explain the serious differences between the two, except for telling people that the only difference is that one has a cheaper premium and one gets more benefits and the other one's more expensive. If that was the case, everyone should just get a Medicare Advantage plan, Medicare Supplement should just shut down, and life goes on. But that doesn't make any sense because nothing in life, as I mentioned before, is free. Everything has a cost. And that's why those $0 premiums plus your Part B has a serious downside with denials and not getting prior approvals. And one thing you should know, even though it's a $0 premium for you, even though you pay your Part B, the government does reimburse and give those insurance companies money every single month. Don't worry, they're not a charity. They don't run on charity. They run on making money. I mean, this difference alone is worth considering. My father has a huge hernia in his stomach. He's refused to get surgery for years and it looks horrible. I told him we can get one of the best surgeons in the country before it gets any worse. So don't try this in states that require underwriting. Don't wait. I told my father to wait. He didn't have any money. He has a little bit of money now. So now he has a Medicare supplement plan. Well, we found one of the top surgeons and we went down and saw him just 3 weeks ago. He's scheduled for a surgery now in September with an incredible surgeon just with one visit. No approval needed. He just looked and said, yeah, it's bad. You need other tests first, but if they come out, great. I'll see you in September. Now, really important here. I asked the doctor, is this surgery actually vital for his health? He said, no, it's not vital for his health, but think of it this way. Is it going to get worse than it is now? Yes. Is he going to get older? So the question is who's going to do the surgery and where is it going to get done and why is it going to get done? It's best to do it now with someone who specializes in one of the best in the country. I said, yes, doctor, you're right. That's it. He's scheduled. That's it. The other issue with Medicare Supplement is underwriting. With a Medicare Advantage plan, there's no medical underwriting. So if you have any underlying issues, you're automatically approved. With Medicare Supplement, in most states, you have to go through underwriting. So they're going to ask you questions about the medications you're on and any kind of underlying issues, because in some cases you can't get a plan. But there is one exception to all medical underwriting. There is no underwriting necessary when you're turning 65, either 3 months before or 3 months after. No underwriting. You're automatically approved for Medicare Supplement. Now, why am I taking this so passionately? Because I find the whole disingenuous wording of Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplement very serious to me, especially people that sell Medicare Advantage. Because while there is no typical premium, more than $0 outside of what you pay, that makes the sale super easy. It's easy to sell things that don't cost you any extra money. But the other problem is that Medicare does not pay its agents much. They're always hunting for more clients to build a book of business. That does not mean they have the time to be well educated with the potential downsides of Medicare Advantage in the serious issues when it comes to the most important part, your health. So I'm still going to cover how to get around the problems with Medicare Advantage, but first I want to go over, in my opinion, who should get a Medicare Advantage plan. They're people that don't make enough money, that aren't considered below the poverty line, but have a lot of prescription drug bills. You typically can't afford a Medicare supplement, but they're struggling to pay their prescriptions. Well, Medicare Advantage in this case might be the best option. It's also better than having just the original Medicare in case something catastrophic happens, because if you're ever hospitalized, those costs can mount up and the full weight of that bill could collapse your finances. And most cases of bankruptcy happen because of medical bills. Now, if you're under the poverty line with very little assets, you're probably better off getting original Medicare with Medicaid. That's it. Don't go for the special Medicare Advantage plans with all those extra benefits. I highly recommend that you don't do that so you have access to the best doctors and get 100% of all the coverage that you need for your drugs under Medicaid. But let me tell you the good news. If you have Medicare Advantage and you're ever denied treatments or you don't have prior authorization, there's a little way around it, but it takes a little work. What you need to know is this: over 90% of all the cases that are denied under Medicare Advantage are overturned when they're appealed. 90%. If you appeal it twice, it's over 95%. Think about how ridiculous that is. So you're not powerless. You're not at their mercy, but you have to know how to appeal. And that's not so easy. So my suggestion to you is this: if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you need to learn the appeals process. You also need to learn to ask your doctor if what he's prescribing right now is what he's recommending or what the insurance company recommended, because he typically won't tell you this isn't my recommendation. He won't say to you, oh, by the way, the insurance company told me to tell you this. He'll make it seem like it's from him. You have to ask the doctor, if his recommendation is actually from the insurance company. And I don't want you to wait on how to learn how to do an appeal. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of the cure. That's not to say that every single person on Medicare Advantage is going to be denied necessary coverage. That's not true. I also know many people that were covered and they were helped with bypass surgeries when they needed them, open heart surgery, stroke procedures. So no, it's not like you're going to be denied some major coverage out of the blue. It's the small things that become big things that you need to know in advance. So the real difference between Medicare Advantage and Supplement outside of the cost of the premium, and of course you're not covered for dental, vision, hearing, can be summarized this way. You can have the same doctor, you can have the same hospital, but your doctor has to recommend and wait for authorizations with Medicare Advantage. Whereas with original Medicare, the doctor decides what is medically necessary, just like in the case of my father. I think it's more important than all the lame, well, Medicare Advantage means that you can see your doctor and the Medicare Advantage plan covers drug coverage. And as important as to know the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement, you have to understand how this all ties together so that you can have the best coverage you deserve. This video covers everything you need to know about putting it all together.